Alright, so this is about the Unit 3 performance task. I'm just going to talk about your options and how this might look. So the Unit 3 performance task, your first option, option A, is to find a real-life application for finding x-intercepts of a quadratic, specifically the x-intercepts. Specifically why the x-intercepts of a quadratic are important in a certain context. If you chose option A for your Unit 2 performance task, choose a different real-world application. So essentially don't do the same thing you did last time if you chose that. You still can pick unit or option A if you did A last time, just pick a different application. I think I'm going to go over the examples all at once this time around, just for fun. So that's option A, is to pick a real-world application and tell me why the x-intercepts are important in that application. Option B is to create a flow chart that illustrates how you decide which method to use when solving quadratics. There is no one right answer to this. A flow chart can be a lot of different things, and so just use some creativity on this one. Like, how do you decide which method to use? And don't just say it's because like the directions will tell me, you know. Like, looking at the quadratic, what things about that quadratic make you want to say factor it instead of use the quadratic formula, or find the GCF, like use the GCF method, or take the square root. Like, the key to these ones is looking at at when you can use the methods in your notes. So that might inspire you. This can be done online or on paper. There's some really cool online flowchart creators that you can use, and I had several people do that last year. Again, all of my examples are the physical things that people turned in, because that's what I have pictures of, but there were a bunch of online options as well. Option C was to create a game that would help future Math 2 students learn to factor quadratics, specifically finding the two numbers that add to the b value and multiply to the c value. So you just write instructions for your game that include rules, as well as an explanation for how it helps the players learn to factor. So that one's a more creative option, just some way to help future Math 2 students learn to factor. I've had some really cool options on this one, and I think they're awesome. And who knows, if it's really cool, I might use it next year. Who knows? So let's go through my examples really quick. This is an example of option A. He used battleships as his quadratic scenario application, and the x-intercepts are very important on this quadratic notice, because the first x-intercept is like where it's coming from, the second one is like where you want to hit. So those are very important. So I thought this was really cool, also very well done, like illustrated and nice. So this is a really cool option. This one is an example of option B. They made a flow chart for how they decide to solve a quadratic. So there's a lot of thoughts in here, like, is there a middle term, yes or no? Is a plus c both perfect squares? Is c a negative? Is there a constant term? So she did a great job illustrating her thought process when it comes to this. I thought it was great. I think that I have another example, or maybe two of these. So here's another one. This one is a simpler option. So there really is not one right answer for flowcharts, but I like the ones that are more in depth, of course. This one, haven't had a lot of examples on that I've shown you that have been just writing, but this one was about the game. So I'm just reading, hang on, just to read the answers at the same time. Okay, so it's kind of like elimination, I guess. It's like they write, everybody has their own whiteboard, and they write the two numbers that multiply to the end term and add to the middle term. And then if they get it wrong, they lose a life, I guess, and they have 3 of those lives, and the last 3 standing get crowned winners. And there could be a lightning round, they said, with the last 3. So I thought it was a cool idea. This is another option. I like to add sometimes like alternative options. I've had some people like just email me and be like, hey, can I do this for my performance task? Or like I've been working on this and it uses some of the math that we've learned this unit, and I am all for that. Like I don't limit you to the 3 options I give you. Like those are my thoughts, but if you are working on something else, or if you're interested in something else, like this person specifically, actually, their brother also does this as well. I'm sure you're listening. Anyway, but I think this is a cool option. They're into programming, and they made sort of a quadratic formula calculator where you just insert A, B, and C, and it spits out the answer, which I thought was really cool. So you're not limited. If you do have other ideas, just let me know. I do want to like approve it beforehand, but I think it's great. So anyway, those are your options, and those are some examples of the quadratic, or of the Unit 3 performance task. Let me know if you have any questions.